Deep inside a bright green forest called Maplewood Jungle, where tall oak trees touched the sky, colorful birds sang cheerful songs, and gentle rivers flowed quietly, there lived many animals who believed in friendship, honesty, and helping one another, and among all of them, the most talked about friendship was between Max the monkey and Eli the elephant. Because even though they were very different in size, nature, and habits, they had grown up together and shared a strong bond. Eli the elephant was big, calm, wise, and well-respected throughout the jungle, not only because he was physically strong, but because he was honest, kind, and hardworking, and over many years of carrying heavy logs, protecting the forest paths, helping smaller animals build homes, and trading fruits fairly, Eli had earned a comfortable life with plenty of food and savings, yet he never showed pride in his wealth and always believed that true richness came from good character. While Max the monkey, on the other hand, was quick, clever, playful, and extremely smart, able to swing silently from tree to tree and squeeze into the smallest spaces. But sadly, Max had developed a bad habit that slowly turned into a serious problem, because instead of working for his food, he had started stealing it. At first, Max only took small things, like a handful of nuts from Squirrel Sam's tree or a few bananas from Parrot Penny's storage, and he told himself that it did not really matter because everyone had plenty. But as time passed and he was never caught, his confidence grew and his conscience grew weaker, so he began stealing more often and from more animals, taking berries from the rabbit family, grains from the deer, shiny coins from Turtle Tom near the river, honey jars from the bear's cave, and even food from hardworking ants who spent all day collecting crumbs. And every time Max stole something, he felt a small sting of guilt that quickly faded as soon as his stomach was full. While Eli continued to live honestly and invited Max to share meals with him, gently reminding him that stealing was wrong and that friends should ask for help instead of taking in secret, but Max laughed it off and believed he was smarter than everyone else. Slowly, the peaceful forest began to change because animals noticed their food and money going missing. Fear spread, doors were locked, trust was broken, and the happy jungle felt tense and worried. Yet no one suspected cheerful Max. And this made him even greedier until one night his thoughts crossed a dangerous line when he looked at Eli's large, well-stocked house and convinced himself that stealing from his best friend was acceptable because Eli was rich and kind and surely would not notice. So under the cover of darkness, Max sneaked into Eli's home, quietly filling his bag with fruits, bread, and coins, feeling nervous but excited. But the moment he stepped outside the door, his heart dropped because standing there in the moonlight were all the animals he had stolen from, including Squirrel Sam, Parrot Penny, Turtle Tom, the rabbits, the deer, the fox, the bear. And in the center stood Eli the elephant, not angry but deeply disappointed. And seeing Eli's sad eyes broke something inside Max, causing the weight of his actions to finally crash down on him, and he dropped the bag, fell to the ground, and burst into tears, confessing everything and apologizing sincerely to each animal, admitting that greed had blinded him and that he had hurt the entire forest. And while the animals felt angry and hurt, Eli stepped forward and explained that true justice also required forgiveness when someone truly wished to change, so they gave Max a chance, telling him that forgiveness must be followed by honest action. And from the next morning onward, Max began working harder than ever before, waking up early to gather fruits, helping the ants collect food, guarding paths with Eli, returning what he could and earning his meals with effort instead of tricks. And day by day, the forest began to heal. Trust slowly returned, and Max discovered that food earned through hard work tasted better than food stolen, and that helping others filled his heart with a happiness he had never felt before. And from that time on, Max remained honest, loyal, and helpful, while Eli continued to guide him like a true friend. And Maplewood Jungle once again became a peaceful, joyful place where all animals lived happily together, proving that honesty, friendship, and hard work always lead to true happiness, while greed only brings shame and loneliness.